Hey guys, this is Dummy24 and welcome to episode 4 of my series Becoming a Better Tanker. This series is designed to help you become a better player in the online game that's free to play called World of Tanks. And basically the series is all about trying to teach you little tips, tricks, and strategies on how to basically play the game better. And maybe a strategy that might be something you didn't know about, or you might have forgotten it or something. Excuse me. Just little things like that, and just to help you become a better player and help you become a better team player. In this episode, I'm discussing a strategy for playing Westfield on Assault as the attackers. This is one of the harder maps that I know of to be an attacker on. The general strategy that you want to employ here as the attackers is a pincer strategy. Now, this was especially effective by the Germans during World War II. It's one of their main strategies. For example, the Battle of Kursk. If you know too much about that, that was a pincer type attack. When you make a pincer attack, there's a couple things, well, three things in particular, that are very important to keep in consideration. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just discuss these three things, and I'm going to play the game out kind of hyperspeed or whatever, just so you can see how we don't follow the mistakes that we made on this attack and how it ends up costing us the game. The first thing is the composition of the prongs themselves. And this one, obviously the pincer point, or whatever you want to call it, the converge factor, ramification meter, or whatever you want to, I don't know. The place where you want to end up is the enemy cap. So that means you're going to have a northern pincer prong and you're going to have a southern, southwest, or whatever, pincer prong. The northern one should be made primarily of heavy tanks, and that's because the northern attack is there's a much slighter crest to the hill, so it makes it easier for heavy tanks to, because they're so slow, to crest the hill and get shots on the enemy. The southern prong, or the southwest down here, this should be primarily medium tanks, maybe a heavy tank, but generally the heavy is better in the north. Maybe a medium tank, or mostly medium tanks, and that's because you want small, light, fast tanks down there to be able to pop up over the edge to get up, because the hill right there is a lot steeper. So you want small, fast, and light tanks to be able to creep up that hill, see what's going on, spot enemies, and get back down before getting destroyed. If they get a shot off, that's great, but you really don't care too much if those guys get shots on them. And then in the middle here, in this area, see what I mean is this is the southern, this is where the southern flanks there's southern prongs be coming up. You can see it's a pretty steep hill. The middle area here in this woods and like city, that should be primarily tank destroyers with maybe one medium tank, just so that they can't get flanked. The second important thing for pincer movements is you want to converge on that point, on the ramification, proximity, flux capacitor point, at the exact same time with the northern and southern flanks, or southern prongs. That's the reason why that is because you want to bottle all of these enemies up between your two prongs at the same time. You don't want to have one prong stall out while the other one's pushed, because it allows enemies to escape, which comes to another minor point that kind of bases off that. You don't want people to come up in the middle, because if they can come up in the middle here on this map, they can shoot on onto both pincer prongs. And then finally is kind of more of a general thing, but it's also important for pincer attacks, is don't attack one by one. If you're on the northern flank and you're going to see this, don't go over one by one, or even 2 by 2 or something like that, because you're going to allow the enemy to converge all their fire on you, and it makes it 10 times harder for you to win the game. Now with that being said, let's just play through this real quick here. And this is just the opening few salvos, you know. Well, that's kind of a weird view. Opening few salvos of the game, and this is just basically everybody jockeying for position. You see that there was a couple tanks. I mean, they had like a scout tank that got destroyed, a couple other tanks that got destroyed. They have a couple more scouts in the southern. That's just your normal pub game stuff. That's what always happens. And everybody's moving into position. And this is where I want to do most of my talking from now. So right off the bat, you can see that we had a decent composition, but it could have been better. Those heavy tanks down here should have been up with where I am at up here. This Type 59, this is okay since he is top tier. This is a tier 8 game and he is top tier, so he's okay right there. The other thing is we had some tanks, you can see a couple of them in the city, but they died. And I went through it pretty fast, but because of that, there's also an enemy tank sitting up here somewhere, and he can get shots on the T-34 and the other southern prong guys, or whatever you want to say, southern prong tanks, and that'll allow them to have 2 angles of fire onto 1 prong, which is no bueno. You want everybody in front of them. That's why I say you converge at the same time, so you bottle them up and you keep everybody in front of you. We failed on that one. We had a decent composition. It could have been better, like I said. We failed on keeping everything in front of us, converging at the same time. And then we're also going to fail right here on attacking one by one. You can see we have one guy over the hill. He gets knocked out. I mean, we're down 6 to 7, right? So that means they have roughly 7 or 8 dudes sitting somewhere in this forest that we don't have any sight on. And we don't have a sight on because our southern flank, which is again primarily designed to spot these guys, is knocked out, or at least so far back that it's no use for us. So we have all these guys up here shooting at us and we can't see them. Meanwhile, we have 2 tanks sitting in the back, one that's kind of not in sight, me that's out in the open, and a Type 59 that's out in the open. What that allows them to do is they can concentrate their fire on us one at a time, and you'll see this. So you look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are 5 shots in quick order. You know that doesn't mean, I mean, there could have been one tank that shot twice, but chances are those are all 5 different tanks shooting at me. So you knock me out right here. Now they're working on this Type 59. I said in an earlier episode that you want to attack. If you see a friendly push, you want to push with them. We failed on that one. Type 59 pushed. I didn't see it until later, and by the time I tried to get up there, my track was gone, so I couldn't help him, but we should have all pushed with him at the same time. Again, look, the IS is just sitting back. T-29, the KV-1's nowhere to be found, so that this Type 59 can just get manhandled by, let's see, the 8, so what is that, 7 guys now? Or 6 or whatever, depending on where they're located. So he's gone. The IS is basically knocked out now with that. And it goes downhill even more so from there. If you look at the mini map there, you can see the southern flank's gone, so we can't get any spot on these guys. So there's what, 4 guys, let's see, 3 guys or something like that, or 2 something, 3 or 2 in these woods up here that we have no idea where they are, which is no bueno. The T-29 can get shots on the IS. He could have got shots on the guys that are back here, but he mopped up the southern. You know, it's just a bunch of little mistakes like this that end up costing you the game. Again, we didn't have a great composition. We didn't have a great convergence. We didn't all converge, and we attacked one by one. You can't do that. I know, I understand that it's hard to do these kind of things in a pub game, but because considering you need a lot of communication in these types of attacks. But it's possible. I've done it a little bit. You know, I had a couple good games where I actually pulled this off, pull off a proper pincer movement. But this is kind of a strategy that, you know, when you're out on your own and you're in a pub game, try to communicate with your friendly friendlies or whatever and get this to work, but chances are it won't. Team up with some people. Use it if you're in a team. Tell people where to go, And if you're in a clan wars, I would definitely use this strategy if I was in a clan war. Now, with that being said, try to follow, like I said, try to follow all those things. Try to coordinate that stuff with your with your allies, and yeah, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think. If you have a better strategy here, let me know, because to me, this is one of the hardest maps that you can play as the attacker on. I'm all ears. If you have a better strategy or know something that works better, please let me know. And like, comment, subscribe, especially if you want more of these episodes, or if you want to get more of these to your sub box. And not just these, but also strategies, like little tips and tricks that, like, another one of my episodes was, just because you can't see the guy, don't stop shooting. If you want things like that on how to become a better tanker in the online game World of Tanks, please subscribe, like, because it helps out a lot with the channel, and comment. And especially if you have something better, let me know. And with that, thank you guys for watching, and have a good day. Bye.